Good morning, this is Jack from Chartered Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 7th of October. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, so we saw a little higher yesterday. We didn't actually make a new high on ES, but looks like we might be making one fairly shortly. We're still on the 60-minute sell signal, and it still hasn't reached the possible near-miss target. I think we might see a bit of retracement today. We do have bearish leaning historical stats today. In terms of NQ, went higher, made a higher high, possible double top here, of course. RTY. This made a higher high as well. A 60-minute sell signal is fixed here, so we've now got 2 on the US indices, and that hasn't reached target either. We've got a little double top set up here, which I'm thinking could potentially play out today with the target at about the 2460 area. Looking at YM, possible larger double top here, as we still have on RTY as well, of course. No current negative divergence. Looking at DAX, weak 60-minute sell signals reached possible near miss target. This looks like an awful lot like a bull flag forming, but I am wondering if that could be A, B, C. Get down to the weekly pivot or slightly below. ESTX has been testing the weekly pivot as support for the last day or so. No current positive divergence, and we haven't retested this low yesterday yet. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Not a huge amount to see on these. In terms of the nothing really on the daily charts to note, I don't think. No, I mean, we need to see a bit of a retracement to start having any possibility of having an RSI 5 sell signal brewing. In terms of the hourly chart, we didn't quite retest the high. Otherwise, we'd have a weakish possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing, but not a particularly high quality. We've 15 RSI 14 sell signal reached the possible near miss target. And the obvious trendline resistance I've got above, although it's not very strong, I've got in about the 67, 75 area. All right, looking at the Qs, went a little higher yesterday. We've got a almost had a tiny bit of negative divergence here, but it went slightly below the 50 line here, so normally I wouldn't count that. On the 15-minute chart, no current negative divergence. Doesn't look like a double top here, but I do have an interesting trend line there, actually, which I'm going to mark in. So bear with me a moment. All right. Only a 2-touch trend line, but it's kind of a useful guardrail, I suppose. No channel there. A more tentative resistance trend line. Qs have been leading the way up on this. I have to say, I think there's a pretty good chance we're in an AI bubble at the moment, but that does not mean it's close to finishing. As I said, I'm not seeing anything really on the bigger picture, and I'm still thinking December, January looks like a viable time for that. Looking at Dyer, we didn't retest the highs, so no current negative divergence. 15 minutes, still wondering about a possible test of this wedge support, and wouldn't be astonished to see that. I've got this, I've got that currently, the support in about the 461 area. Looking at IWM. Bear with me a moment. All right, IWM, we do have a 60-minute sell signal brewing here on the RSI 14, and actually, obviously we've got one on RTY as well. 15-minute, no, but we do have this little potential double top, which I'm thinking could deliver a modest retracement. On DAX, we have broken up from what looks an awful lot like a bull flag, and I'm expecting to see a retest of the 24.6k high in the not too distant future. That is obviously pretty close. Nikkei, Nikkei has bombed up through my trend line, which I'm thinking is toast at this stage. So this is, I'm not sure, but we've been seeing a major reduction in the value of the yen since the new Prime Minister was elected. I'm wondering whether a degree of this is actually due to this balancing out the deterioration of the yen rather than any particular enthusiasm in the market. But we will see how that goes. In the meantime, we had an RSI 14 sell signal fix, and I think we just lost it. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX is still kicking around near the retest of this high here. That could be a double top when we see that retested, but I'm favoring instead a break higher. On ZB, on the other currency pairs are a very mixed bag here. USD JPY, obviously, when this is going up, the yen is getting weaker. That has been a significant move. So I do have a weak 60-minute sell signal brewing, fixed, and another a full size one brewing. Not a lot to see on the others really, except for NZ here, which has turned sell signal made target, and I'm wondering about a retest of this low, which would fit with the dollar going up. Looking at ZB, ZB, I think this double bottom is failing towards a retest of this low. We will see. I'm disappointed to see that because I was kind of hoping to see a retest of this high. We've got an IHS forming on ZN as well, but that looked a lot better yesterday after before we made this move down. At the moment, I think the obvious next target is probably a retest of this low, which is disappointing, but that could be the second low of a double bottom. Right, looking at CL, we've seen a nice little rally here. The 60-minute buy signal reached possible near miss target. So did the one on RBOB, which is also broken up from an IHS with a target in the 1.953 area. HO hasn't made that target yet. Kind of looks like a bear flag forming. Bigger picture, we've got competing forces here. On the chart, I'm wondering about a possible retest of the low, and obviously, the economy is not doing that well, and that tends to reduce demand. But OPEC is talking about doing a sizable production cut, and that obviously would be bullish for prices. So we're kind of in an inflection point here. We will wait. What I have pointed out on the bigger picture charts is that my main reason for thinking that we would go lower on oil was that we didn't have a bottoming pattern on RBOB. That has changed. We've now retested the big low on RBOB, and we've got a nice looking double bottom there. So it could be that we're going to turn back up directly from here. There's no good fundamental reason for it, but I have to say the technical setup here is significantly bullish over the next year or two on oil. So we'll see how that develops. NG, we broke up over this double bottom resistance, and this looks like a bull flag forming at the moment. You quite often see this little pullback after a breakup. I've got the target for that in the 3.8 to 3.828 range. GC. Hit 4,000 for the first time, and we are going through at the moment this wedge resistance trend line. So we'll see how that goes. We have got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. SI, we had one fixed and it's reached the possible near miss target. Palladium, we had a bull flag and that's broken up and retested the high, and Platinum had already done that. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed on Platinum. Again, as I've been saying, we've got a fair amount of negative divergence on all of these, not really including copper and the precious metals, but we've got a fair amount of negative divergence on all these. But this has been a wild move up, a very strongly trending move up, and it tends to not be an awesome idea to get in the way of that. All right, let's have a look at KC. KC, 60 minutes buy signals reached possible near miss target. Not showing any enthusiasm going higher, and as I said, we had an IHS break up and immediately fail. That generally is looking for a retest of the prior low at 350. On SB, we saw a break up towards and a slight break up over this double bottom resistance, made the IHS target, but at the moment we're rejecting that. I'm waiting to see if we're going to hold these levels or return to the lows, but if it holds these levels, this double bottom is breaking up with a target considerably higher, 1780 to 18 area, but I'll put in some firm targets later. On CC, this channel resistance I'd have more confidence in if it hadn't actually seen an underthrow. Weak 6-minute buy signal fixed, could be making a low here. This has broken some big support, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this going lower. CT, possible bottoming action, but would be improved if we actually retested this low. Lumber, actually I was saying that I was quite liking still the double bottom target. We've reached the first double bottom target now. So that is made. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and in the process of reconfirming. On ZW, ZW, I'm liking the bull side here. Not been seeing much action over this over the last day. Corn, we've got this nice looking bull flag, and we're getting pretty close to flag resistance currently in the 424 area. On soy, soy, we're trying to break up from an IHS here. We've seen a bit of a pullback, as we often do after we've seen a breakup. I'm liking the target. We'll see. I've got that in about the 1046 to 7 area. On ZL, this looks like a bear flag forming. 60-minute sell signals reach the possible near miss target. When it reaches the 70 area and closes an hour there, I'll call that signal and take it off the chart. Live cattle, we had a little level bottom here which broke up and looks like it might be heading to that target. So this could just be a little bear flag forming, but overall this looks like a bullish consolidation setting up an eventual retest of this high. Lean hogs, this looks like a bear flag forming. A lot like a bear flag forming. If it is a bear flag, then the obvious target on the next move down is this target area in the 84.25 to 85 area for this double top. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Nikkei, I'm not seeing a reversal pattern on Nikkei at the moment. I'm seeing signs of a possible reversal back down on USD JPY. We've got quite a lot of negative divergence, but it's been, it's been heading up at a hell of a pace, and so has the Nikkei. I'm not seeing anything other than a little bit of negative divergence suggesting it's going to turn around. But as and when it does, chances are we're going to see a big retracement, as this is very, very news-based. What I would say, though, on the dollar is if the dollar goes up as I expect, obviously that will exert upward pressure on USD JPY as well. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, take care.